Hello, I'm Little Mike from Higgins Energy. I'm going to be going over what we do when it comes to the yearly cleanings and maintenance, what you can do as an operator of one of these units, and give you an inside scoop on what's going on. Let's get right into it. First things first is that when I come over to clean your gas stove, when you have a schedule as to come out, the first thing I always do is I always test the unit. That way, if there's any signs or symptoms that need to be addressed, I will know about it before I get right into the unit. So right now, I lit the pilot, and then I lit the burner. I'll test some of the functions of your stove. This one has all the bells and whistles. It's got fans, it's got lights. You can even turn off the front burner and all that good stuff. I don't run it too long because obviously you don't want to work on the stove when it's hot. So once I've tested the stove and figure out what needs to get worked on, depending on the signs and symptoms, I may check other things such as connections with the wires, gas pressure. Sometimes I'll check for leaks too, but not always the case. This is just a simple cleaning. So once I get into it, especially what I do with these stoves is I'll take it apart. As an owner of a gas stove, getting a gas stove, the only thing you really have to worry about as far as maintenance and cleaning is just worrying about the glass, really. You don't really have to do the inside of the glass or touch anything inside the stove. I'll do all that for you. If you do have to clean your glass, say you have kids over, big family dinner, party, and someone spills chocolate milk on the glass, you can always purchase one of the approved cleaners for a gas stove. We also sell it here at Higgins. This is the stuff I always use to clean the glass. So now we got the stove opened up. I'm gonna take all the logs out, I'm gonna take all the rocks out, clean the inside of the stove. Now that we got the logs out, I'll show you what's going on inside. I'll check the walls of the stove, check your pilot, I'll check under the burner. Take all the rocks out. So what I'm doing right now is that I'm going to take the burner out. I'm going to inspect the burner, clean underneath it, and then I'll check the pilot, make sure that's good too. Gently, take the burner assembly out. I inspect it, make sure there's no cracks, no wear and tear, and then I vacuum it up. Inspect the hole. The system looks great. We come inside the stove, continue to do some more cleaning. A lot of the times, there'll be a lot of bugs and spiders and stuff. Like to make homes inside the unit. A lot of times you'll see daddy long legs inside your stove. Underneath the burner, you won't see them because they'll be underneath the burner. They love the smell of the mercaptan from the propane especially. So it's always good to take the burner out as a technician and clean out the bottom of the stove. As a technician, it's important that we check the pilot, clean the pilot, because without it, your whole stove won't run. If there's no pilot flame, then the burner won't be on. So I'll go in there, I'll check the pilot and the orifices and make sure they're clean and that they can function the stove properly. A lot of times times you'll see us test firing the stove, even with the glass off, just to make sure that everything we're putting back is in working order. After I touch the pilot, I like to turn the pilot on, and even the burner. Once I know everything's good, turn it back off. I can finish putting the stove back together. Gas stoves have a certain of how the logs are placed, so it's very important that we get it placed back correctly, especially according to the manual, because the logs themselves play a huge role on how the whole system is vented and how airflow is traveled through the system. So putting the logs back and where they should be going is actually very important. Part of the yearly cleaning that we do and we offer, we'll do little things like we'll add new ember glow or rock wool. Gives that stove that nice glow at the base of the burner here. If the stove needed to be painted inside, that's another thing we do. No extra charge as far as cleaning the stove. Dressing and tuning the stove is part of the yearly cleaning. So at this point, I've gotten the stove cleaned, gotten the stove dressed up. I'll make some final tuning adjustments underneath the stove here. I'll even go ahead and check, make sure your module and wires are all hooked up and in running condition. While I'm down here, I'll check to make sure your battery backup system is working. A lot of the times when we come out to a customer's house, we'll ask for four AA batteries because it's always good to change the batteries when you do your yearly maintenance. Because owning a gas stove, you just want to be able to kind of just push the button, set it, forget it. It's kind of the perks of owning one of these. We'll check the battery backup underneath. We'll change the batteries for you. That way you don't have to worry about it. I tell the customers all the time, once you replace the batteries, at least, heavens forbid, you lose power in the dead of winter, you'll be able to run your stove for up to a day or so. And if that ever happens, at least you'll know that you have the battery backups already put in. Test fired a couple more times with the glass off. I test the lights, I test your blower, I test your burners. Everything's running good. Then I put the stove back together. In that process, I'll clean the glass. Like I said before, as a gas stove owner, you won't ever have to really worry about cleaning the inside of the glass as long as you get your service done yearly. By a certified technician like myself, will make sure everything is clean, neat, and working for you. Test fire the stove now. And then we'll go through all the functions of the stove, whether you got a blower or a light, like I said before. the stove is running great. I check the venting and make sure everything's good. Check the pipes. So as an owner of a gas stove, you won't really have to do much as far as maintenance goes. You have us come out, we'll come out, we'll do everything I just showed you. Make sure your stove's running great. Thanks for watching. I'm Little Mike.